advanced drafting problem number 2. Okay, if you're looking at the problem, it is the same. This problem comes from intro to drafting problem number 5. Now I've gone ahead and resized it and scaled it to the size that we're going to need. So we're all set to go. So the first thing we need to do is we're going to do some trimming and cutting and some composing, and we're going to make this rounded rectangle. We're going to make it into one piece. You'll see what I'm doing, so stick with me. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come along and I'm going to trim off all these extra pieces of the circle. I'm going to grab my trim. See, I'm just kind of coming along and trimming this guy just like this. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come along and I'm going to select everything, and I'm going to deselect. I'm going to hold down my shift key. I'm going to deselect this inner rectangle, this inner triangle, and this inner circle. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing as I'm going to extrude, or I need to compose it first. I'm sorry, because right now if you look up here it's 7 objects. We need it to be 1 object. So I'm going to come up here to modify, compose, and let's see why we have, let's see, it looks like there was an extra line in there somewhere. So good for us. I'm going to delete him. So now again we have our polyline, and I'm going to give this guy some fill. Let's give it solid, and now it's white. So now we're going to come along and we're going to extrude. And it looks like from the drawing that this guy needs to be extruded to 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to go model, extrude, 0.25 inches. Okay. Now if we come and look at this, we come over here. Now it looks like it has some depth, but we're not going to worry about all this other stuff yet. So I'm going to come back to top plan. Now what we're going to do is we're going to chop a triangle-sized hole through this piece that we just extruded. So I'm going to select my triangle. I'm going to come over and I'm going to do model, extrude. And again, remember the piece we're using to cut with needs to be above and below the object we're cutting from. So I'm going to make him 2 inches just for grins. Come around to the front view. I'm just going to hold down Shift key in the bottom arrow, and I'm just going to nudge it so it looks just about like that. Come back to my isometric view. Now again I'm going to select this object and this object. I'm going to come over and I'm going to select model, subtract solids. Now remember, we want this guy on the outside to be selected, so I'm going to use the arrow. Now we're all set to go. Click OK. Okay, that did not work out well. Let's Control Z. Let's see. Look at him again from the front. Yeah, it looks like we're looking okay. Right, isometric. Select both these guys again. Rotate around just a little bit. And I think it's looking okay. So I'm going to model, track solids. There we go. Not sure why that got a little bit funky the last time. I might have had the wrong guy selected. So here we have our triangular, rounded edged triangular piece with a triangle hole in the middle. Come back to top view. Okay, now we need just a few more things to do. So now we're going to put a sphere. That's what a 3D circle is called. I'm going to come down here to this. You see these geometric shapes. I'm going to click on. Okay. Somehow it's not letting me click on that. Let's give this another try. I'm going to click on these guys. Okay. All I had to do was move my recording window down a little bit. So we clicked on these geometric shapes, and as you see here, there's something called a sphere. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on it, and it's just like drawing a circle. I'm going to click from the center of this circle up to this guy. And now, if we go to our isometric view, now we have our sphere in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to delete this circle. So I'm going to look at them from the front. It looks like, I'm going to zoom in here just a little bit. The only thing we need to do is, if we look on the drawing, is this outside piece needs to sit right in the middle of the circle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag him out just a little bit. Let's see. Drag him out just a little bit. Select right the center of the piece. Put him right on the center of this guy. So now zoom out just a little bit, and this big circle is sitting exactly where we want it to sit. So now all we have left to do is put in these three other little circles, and those are just small spheres again. Save yes. Come back down to sphere. I'm going to make this circle. Make this circle. I'm going to make this circle. I'm probably going to have to move all these guys again, I think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select them all. Come down to the front view. And actually it looks like the circle's dropped in exactly right in the center of this. So let's look at this in isometric view again. Now I'm going to quick do a rendering mode, and I'm going to show you this in class, but how to set a rendering mode is you come over here where the little tea kettle is, you click the down arrow, and I usually use OpenGL to show objects. We're going to use some of these other items in the class. We're going to use dashed hidden line eventually, but right now let's do OpenGL. And it's kind of hard to see. I'm going to change this guy over to like and now we can see as we rotate him around, here's our object. So that right there, guys, is Advanced CAD problem 2.